and obviously the blood is pouring out on the pavement. I'm thinking, oh my God, we've killed him. Honestly, I didn't really want to sort of have to throw him out because there was 20 of them and there's, you know, basically 2 of us. Punched him in the belly and he's folded over like this. And then my friend Alan, who's an MMA fighter as well, just got him in a guillotine, pulled it on, like a few seconds, this guy is like, and this guy, true to his word, has tried to bite my friend Alan in the face. The night that changed everything. It was actually the start of the end of me working the doors and doing security work was this night, as it was a very eventful night. And yeah, I think I lived a few lives in just one night here. And I'm a little bit skeptical even really to sort of talk about this one because I don't want it to give the wrong impression, but it was just one of those nights. Anyone that knows me, you know, knows you can just get in these very tricky situations sometimes, and as a doorman you're sort of thrust into these positions, which is one of the reasons, yeah, it sort of put me off, to be honest. So I was working as a doorman in Reading, and my friend was the head doorman there, just started as the head doorman, and normal night, good night, you know, the energy's flowing, and there was a big bunch of guys in this club, and there was one in particular, you know, heavily set, muscular guy, and he was just sort of throwing everyone around, to be honest with you. And it was only 3 doormen working there. It was me in like the main room, my friends outside, and then there was a tiny little doorman that was outside in the smoking area. So there's a bit of worry, you know, because you've got like 20 guys. If they kick off on you, there's only 3 of you, you're going to have a problem, even if you can handle yourself. And one of the doormen definitely couldn't do that as well. So it was just me and my friend Alan, really. And this guy's throwing everyone around, and he's being very loud. I don't know if he's on drugs. He's definitely, you know, had a few beers, and I think something else was going on. And I've had to go over and say, listen, mate, you've got to calm down. You're being a bit too much. You're throwing everyone, and everyone's getting a bit intimidated. And he's like, yeah, mate, no worries. And, you know, I've sort of got out, you know, walked away. I was thinking, oh God, he's not listening to a word I'm saying here. And there's 20 of these dudes, and it's just me and my mate Alan that's going to have to be dealing with this. And some of them had cauliflower ears. I'd seen them on like the grappling circuit, so some of them I knew could definitely handle themselves. Anyway, he's gone up to this sort of, I'm just got my eye on him, he's gone up to this sort of tiny little cute blonde girl, and he sort of grabbed her, and he's like sort of manhandling her a little bit, and she's looking a little bit scared. So I've sort of gone over there again, said, you know, mate, you need to calm down. Spoke to this girl and just said, look, just go to the other side of the club. I've got my eye on this guy, and, you know, just stay away from him because, you know, I think he's bad news. Anyway, the night's carried on. He's still being an absolute idiot, to be honest with you. But honestly, I didn't really want to sort of have to throw him out because there was 20 of them, and there's, you know, basically 2 of us, and I thought we were going to get handed to us. So I'm letting things go a little bit, and my friend Alan comes in. Like, who's this dude? What's he doing? I said, oh mate, I've spoke to him twice, but he's just an absolute nightmare. But there's 20 of them, and like one of them there's got collies, and I've seen him on the grappling circuit. There's quite a few of them. We want to try and deal with this a little bit delicately. And he's like, well, all right, we'll keep your eye on him. Anyway, he's sort of, my friend Alan's sort of standing with me, and then he's gone over and chatted to this guy, and I can see the sort of conversations are going too well, and Alan comes back to me and goes, well mate, we need to get this guy out. I said, mate, just leave it, just let it play out for a little bit longer, so just both stay here and see what happens. Anyway, this guy just carries on being an absolute idiot. My friend Alan goes over again, and I can sort of see his face change, and my friend Alan comes over to me and said, Roy, we need to get this guy out right now. I was like, hello mate, let's just leave it. There's 20 of them, there's only 2 of us, and the fella outside, he ain't going to do anything. And he was like, no, he's just threatened to bite my nose off. And I was like, okay. So he's like, we need to get him out now. I was like, all right, let's just do it. So we've gone over there and said, mate, you need to leave now. Unsurprisingly, this guy has not very politely told us to get lost. So we both grabbed his arm, and I sort of was, as we grabbed his arm, I'm half expecting all his 20 friends to sort of pile in and absolutely sort of, tear us a new one, which they would have done because we were very much outnumbered there. But they didn't. Anyway, we're sort of dragging this guy through the club, and we're slipping on the dance floor, picking him up, we're pulling him through, and he's really resisting, trying to get us off, and we're sort of just trying to grab him out, going through all the people. And then we sort of managed to get him through these doors, and there's like a pathway outside, like a alleyway, sort of, you go into the club, sort of where you pay, etc. And this guy, true to his word, has tried to bite my friend Alan in the face. And my friend Alan's going, Roy, he's trying to bite me. And it's the only time I've ever done it, actually, whilst I was working on the doors. As I see this guy sort of like chomping at my friend's face, and my friend sort of, just staying out of it, I punched him in the belly. And he's folded over like this. And then my friend Alan, who's an MMA fighter as well, just got him in a guillotine, pulled it on, like a few seconds, this guy's like, he's out. And now he's sort of like in our arms, sort of completely unconscious. My friend Alan is obviously fuming because he's about this far away from taking a chunk out of his face. So we've sort of dragged him with his sort of feet dragging behind him, dragged him outside, and he's a big unit of a fella. And as we've sort of gone to put him down, the last bit he's dropped, and he's hit his head on the floor. And we're like, not really thinking of it to start off with. Alan's, still very annoyed that this guy's tried to take a chunk out of his face, and understandably so. And next thing, as he's sort of gone down, hit his head here on the floor, next thing, blood starts coming out on the pavement. We're like, oh dear, that isn't good. So Alan's like picked his legs up, which is what you do normally when someone gets choked out. You lift their legs up, gets the sort of oxygen back to the head, blood back to the head, and they come back round again. Anyway, he's got his legs up, he's giving them a shake. Like nothing's happening. 30 seconds. We're looking at each other, and this guy is just out cold. People from Reading then are coming over. Oi, what have you done to this fella? What have you done? Right, cameras are coming out. We're like, like just back away. No, they're all drunk, and they're all just looking for, to cause a bit of a scene. And we're thinking, oh God, this doesn't look good here. It looks like we've thrown this fella out. He's hit his head. He's completely unconscious. Anyway, I'm there 5 minutes, 10 minutes. This guy is still completely unconscious, and obviously the blood is pouring out on the pavement. I'm thinking, oh my God, we've killed him. Shit. Oh my God, like, is he going to come back round? And it's just, as the minutes are going by, I'm thinking, this fella is not coming back round again. And even Alan, who's like a wild guy, was like looking pretty terrified. Like, this is like, seriously, what's going to happen here? So I had to go back into the club because obviously there was only one guy out in the smoking thing. This club was packed, heaving. And I had to go back look after the dance floor. So I said, Alan, look, when he comes back round, if he comes back round, let me know on the walkie-talkie because I'm seriously worried here. He's like, yeah, no, I will do. Like, hopefully he's going to come back round. I've called the ambulance. Anyway, I'm in the club. Minutes, like, it's probably like 10 seconds of feeling like a minute. I'm thinking, another minute's gone by, another minute's gone by, no call from Alan. I'm thinking, oh my God, this guy's been out now for a long time. There's blood pouring out. Like, are we going to get done for manslaughter here? Have we killed him? And I was seriously questioning my life choices, thinking, I'm working as a doorman here for £10 an hour, like, because I wanted to start a security company. That's sort of why I was there, just sort of getting a feel for it, getting my experience up. And what am I doing? And I was thinking, right, I need to get my story straight here. Like, exactly what happened, and like thinking, right, the cameras are there, so they can see that this guy's trying to like bite Alan's face, but hopefully they pick that up. And I've hit this guy. The only time I've ever hit a guy in the club, but it was to save my friend getting bit. And I was thinking, oh God, I can just see how this is going down here. I know other doormen that have had situations where they've thrown someone out, they've hit their head on the pavement, they've died, and they're in prison for life. And I'm thinking, now this is going to be me and my friend Alan. Anyway, about another 15 minutes go by, and I get the wonderful, wonderful call. All right, Rory, he's come back round. It's all right. The ambulance had turned up, and he didn't kick off. He just sort of got up like a big baby, and just got into the ambulance and sat there. And it wasn't even that big of a wound. They sort of doused it, but it's where obviously it was the head. It just looked like it was a lot more, but he's all right, and he's on his way. And I can't tell you the relief I felt when I heard this, as my life was not going to change. I'm not going to do 15 years in prison, which was absolutely wonderful, and I felt very ecstatic, to be honest with you. And then this cute little blonde girl that he was sort of, throwing around earlier on, I ended up chatting to her. I got her number, and she ended up becoming my longest girlfriend so far, 5 years, and we had lots of wonderful times and memories together. So it's not all bad, and she was a really, really lovely girl. So that was, an interesting evening, to say the least. And I think it was, after that I realised I'm putting myself in a position here where I could go life in prison just by throwing someone out, and for £10 an hour. Is it really worth it? And I met this blonde girl that I wanted to spend more time with. So yeah, that was the start of the end of me working the doors, and I did about another 6 weeks, I think, of working the doors. We actually got banned from working at that club. My friend got sacked, had a massive argument with the manager after that, and he's sort of saying, "Alan, what the hell is going on?" He's like, "Oh, he tried to bite me in the face, and fuck off." This guy's dad owned the club, so Alan was never asked back. Alan was the one that used to bring me in, so we used to then go and work at another place in Reading. But after that, it really gave me food for thought, and that was the time of me working the doors coming to an end, even though I didn't know it quite then. And yeah, I'm glad it was the end as well, as it's a little experience. And doormen earn their money, but it is horrendous money. You can literally earn better money at McDonald's, so there's no massive glory in working on the doors nowadays, I don't think, and you can get put in positions like that which can change your life for the worst. So yeah, here's my story. Luckily it wasn't life in prison for me, but I learnt my lesson and got out of that situation fairly quickly afterwards. Hope you enjoyed the story, and I will see you next time. Please like, subscribe and comment. Thanks for watching.